everybody, and welcome to this edition of Discussing Digital. Today, I'm discussing digital marketing with Charles Calvert of Easy Mortgages. Charles, would you like to
Hello.
introduce yourself and your business to start
Of
with?
course, yeah. Hello, Rob. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to come on today. Thank you very much for that. I'm Charles Calvert. I'm the owner and director of Easy Mortgages, and we are a whole of market mortgage and insurance brokers. I've been in the industry now for, God, almost 20 years for my sins now, about 20 years as a broker. Worked for some of the largest brokers in the UK and also abroad in Dubai. But just decided, especially with COVID, a lot of people work from home, and I worked from home for 2 years, and it just showed me that I don't need anybody else. I can do this better by myself. I can offer a better service to my clients, a far superior service. We can do less business than I'm doing to give a more personalized experience for my clients. But at the same time, we can still earn more for ourselves because obviously you get a larger share if you're self-employed compared to being employed. So absolutely love it.
Oh, that's really cool. And could you just kind of give a bit of an overview to start with about how you're using digital marketing to promote Easy Mortgages and
Of
grow your
course.
business?
Yeah, sure. I mean, digital marketing, it's a bit of a black art, isn't it? A bit of a dark art. It's something that I've had to really learn on the job, and I've always used social media myself, as far as Facebook and Instagram, just for speaking to friends and family. Starting your own business, you had to quickly learn on the job about setting up a business page on Instagram and Facebook and so on, and across other channels, LinkedIn, TikTok now as well. And it really helps me generate quite a lot of business. I get business really from all over the place, really from referrals and networking. But digital marketing definitely has a really good place in the business, especially when friends, family, things like that also get on board and help you and follow, share posts, things like that.
Yeah, cool. Obviously, we just talked about a lot about social media there, and we're going to explore that in a lot of detail because we've already had some fun conversations about some of the stuff you're doing there. Um, but just before we go there, obviously, one of the other digital areas is your website. Do you get much traffic and many inquiries directly through your website, or has social media been the main way of that digital marketing has helped you?
I've got a good website and I've had one built, and I do think it's a good website. It's professional, and I think it's important to have a really good professional website because it is kind of like your shop window.
Mhm.
It doesn't generate me a lot of new clients, um, mainly because I don't spend a lot of money on SEO and things like that. So I'm not paying a team to SEO the page, make sure it's generating traffic from Google searches and all this sort of thing. I'm not doing that, mainly because there are a lot of bigger brokers in the UK that will spend so much money sponsoring the words mortgage or remortgage or whatever it might be. And if you try and compete with them as a smaller business, you may not get that far.
Yeah.
So my business looks, my website, I think, looks really good.
Yeah.
And it does get me some traffic. Also, I do direct traffic to that site. So when I'm on social media, I will go through that later, but TikTok, having a Linktree app, Linktree link, all that sends people to my contact page on that. So it generates business that way,
Okay.
but not much just organic traffic goes there. The
Yeah.
only organic traffic that tends to go there and contact me are salespeople that want me to do SEO and all that sort of thing. They're really good at filling in my contact forms, yeah, but
I know.
clients not so much.
Oh gosh, I get so much of that stuff myself as well.
Yes.
I've never got my head around why anyone thinks that works, but there you go.
I could probably get at least once a day, at least, with a client saying, give us a call. We found this, and it's just on your contact page, and yeah, never do it.
No, no, I know it's mad, isn't it? Okay, so it's interesting. Thanks for covering that off because it is always good to make sort of just explore how well things like websites work. But let's get
Mm,
on to social media, right?
sure.
And I think I kind of want to jump straight into talking about TikTok because we've had some great conversations already about how TikTok has just kind of helped explode some of your reach recently. Um,
Yes.
so and also how you got into it by sort of speaking with somebody else as well. So
Yes,
yeah,
definitely so.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
let's talk a bit more about
TikTok
that.
is, yeah, happy to go through TikTok. I mean, it's something that I'm very new at. I mean, there's people out there that are experts at it that know it inside out and do really well from it. I am quite new on TikTok, probably been doing it for a few months now. The main reason I got into it is because I spoke to a colleague of mine who is absolutely amazing in the industry, writes a lot of business, is very well known. And I just said to him, "How's it going?" And I see you're on TikTok. Do you get much from that? And he said, "I actually get 80% of all my business from TikTok." And I just couldn't believe it. I thought, how, how on earth do you get so much business from making videos?
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, in that case, I'm going to have to investigate it to see what it's all about, which is what I did. I'm part of the generation where I think I'm too old for TikTok. I like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll leave that to the kids, sort of thing. But if it's generating that much business, I've got to give it a try. I've got to see what it's all about,
I know
which
that's
is
a
what I did. So
fantastically high, such a high statistic. Amazing.
unbelievable. I really couldn't believe it. And he is one, he's a big name in the industry, writes a lot of business, and went onto TikTok, didn't know what I was doing, a bit like what on earth is going on here. As you know, any new app takes a while to get to learn it, which I had a look around, found his page, saw he had over 100,000 followers. He was making all these videos with thousands and thousands of views. I thought, wow, I've got to give this a try. So I set up my own page, got on board, set up the Easy Mortgages TikTok account, and just started making videos. And some people don't really like making videos. I was one of them as well. Goodness, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? But luckily in my industry, you just pick a subject. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that. Nowadays, I do lots of things like market updates, lender rates, what's happening tomorrow, what's happening with the Bank of England base rate, all that sort of thing, which is good. It does seem to be working really, really well. It's growing nicely. I'm definitely not a big player in the TikTok game, but it's just to give you an idea, 2 mortgages that I submitted in May were from clients that just found me on TikTok,
That's brilliant. That's really,
which
really
is which
good.
is unbelievable. It's which I couldn't believe personally. Oh my goodness, I submitted 2 mortgages a month that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't just been making these videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok, it's a bit of a dark art as well. You've got to learn what works for you, but
Mhm.
also what works for TikTok. That's all
Yeah.
they care about, the algorithm in the background. How are they going to keep people on TikTok? All they want to do is keep people on TikTok, keep people engaged, keep people watching. If your videos are doing that, then TikTok's going to like you and they're going to send your videos out and off they go.
Yeah.
If you're not, if people are skipping all your videos, they're not interested, they're not liking, they're not engaging, TikTok are not going to show your video to the next group. So
Yeah.
you've got to be quite careful of what you post. I think when I started, I tried to do more educational videos that might have been 5, 10 minutes long, talking to people about what is shared ownership or what is joint borrower sole proprietor or whatever it is. And TikTok probably didn't really like them because people only watch them for 30 seconds of a 10-minute video and then skip. So they thought, oh, well, that's not great. So I started making shorter videos, things like
Mhm.
20 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute long, short and snappy, straight to the point, dropping the introduction of who I am and all that sort of thing, but just straight into, did you know this is the case? Whatever it might be. So people are just caught straight away. They're listening. You can add captions, you can add the trending sound, you can add effects, all different things you can add, which TikTok likes because you're using their tools. They
Yeah.
also like it if you make your video on their platform rather than make it elsewhere and upload it. So you learn all this sort of stuff over time.
Yeah.
And as you do, you'll just see your viewings going up and up and up. And it's worked somewhat. Some of them have been watched tens of thousands of times, much more effective than Facebook and Instagram just for new
Yeah.
clients, I found.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of really interesting things there that you said. One is that you've been trying different things and you've been looking at the statistics about what works and what doesn't, which I think is really important for people to kind of take on board because it could have been very easy for you to go, well, I've done a few of these, have not worked, I'll
Mhm.
drop it. But the
Yes.
fact that you've kind of experimented and take time to learn what's going on, I think is a really good lesson. Um,
Pure trial and error. And it's something that
yeah,
everyone needs to do. Because otherwise, I do notice some people are on there and they've been on there for maybe months or years and they're just putting video after video after video and no more get, 50 to 100 views. I think that they're just not working.
yeah.
So they just keep plowing away. But what they need to do is make some changes. This isn't working. Why is it not working? How about if I change the music? How about if I make it shorter? How about if I add some captions? How about if I just do something funny, whatever it might be? But you need to be original. You need to be yourself. You don't copy anyone else. You do what works for you and what works for TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, and the other thing I was going to pick up before we go back to some of what you've just said about what you need to be, because we talk about a couple of your big videos, which basically really been a little bit controversial, but it's been really good.
Yes, yes.
But the other one I just wanted to pick up on was the fact you sort of said actually using TikTok's editing platform was again a lesson you think has actually helped you with
Yeah.
TikTok's boost.
Definitely, yeah. TikTok actually came into the talk at a mortgage conference that I went to, and they gave some pointers. And one of them is TikTok like you to use their editing software. They do not want you to make a video on your iPhone, caption it, flip the picture, edit it, and then upload it, which you can do perfectly easy. Upload it and then probably press share. In my experience, they haven't really worked. So sometimes they did exactly the same video, but did it on TikTok, and it's gone big. And you think, wow, that's interesting. So then
Yeah,
you try other things, short, snappy things. You mentioned a couple of videos that have gone quite large on mine. I thought, but well, you need to be snappy. You need to get people's attention. You need to get people watching. And so I thought, well, what if I do a couple of videos relating to current affairs, relating to the wars that are happening in the world at the moment, unfortunately. And I put things like, what would happen to UK mortgage interest rates if we went to war with Russia? And I did another one, what would happen to UK mortgage interest rates if we got involved in the war with Israel and Hamas?
hmm
Um, and they both blew up. They both, because of the thumbnail involving a picture of Putin and a sign saying "Stop the War" and things like this, they've got viewed over 40,000 times.
yeah,
When you
amazing.
compare that to my latest Facebook video that got watched something like 35 times, and 30 of those are my family and friends,
Yeah,
it's a different world of getting you out there, getting the brand out there, getting you out. And, a couple of short, snappy videos like that, even though slightly controversial, get those views, get those followers, get those likes, which then TikTok thinks this guy knows what he's doing. He's making some good videos. I'll share the next lot of his videos as well. And those
yeah,
can be more educational and more, I don't like to talk about, the wars and things on my channel. There's only a couple of videos that I've done like that. So most of mine are all mortgage related, all educational, market news, market updates, but they are never going to get the traction of those short, snappy, controversial ones.
yeah, yeah. But it's interesting again to mix it up. I mean,
Mm.
I'm interested. You mentioned about the fact that sort of like similar videos don't have the same sort of reach on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Do you actually download the ones you've created from TikTok and upload them there, or do
Yes.
you kind of re-record them?
No, yes, the good thing about TikTok as well is you can use the platform to make them for other channels.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the editing software is the best on TikTok. There's nothing that compares to it. The way you can cut videos, snap videos, put change the vocals, change the music, change the capture, whatever it is, whatever you want to do with add effects, it's the best software that I've used as far as trying to do that. So I don't make anything on my PC or my phone and then upload it. I do it all on TikTok.
hmm
Generally, a lot of time, once I've made that TikTok, you can then download it for
Yeah.
yourself. And then you can then put that as your Instagram story, your Facebook story, a post, whatever you want to do. And I tend to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So you make it in TikTok, share it elsewhere. That's yeah.
Definitely so, yes. I'll always make it in TikTok with a video and then share them on the others. I still do Facebook and Instagram posts. They're
hmm
more things like that I won't generally do videos. I would share pictures of my latest review or a market update or a bit of news or something like that. And that
Yeah.
would mainly just be an image on Instagram shared across Facebook. And they tend to only do well when people share them. If it's
hmm
just me sending things out,
Yeah.
I'm basically preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Preaching to people that already know me. They already know what I do. They already know, they're fed up hearing about it, blah, blah, blah. But when my mother or my sister or my friend or my wife shares that post, I tend to end up doing their families or their friends' mortgages
Yeah.
as well. So that works really well. So TikTok, strangers, new leads, new business, growing. Instagram, Facebook, I find are what people sharing, doing more friends of friends, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's quite important for kind of any of our sort of listeners or viewers to kind of try and encourage is when they share, certainly as you say, on Facebook and Instagram, is trying to encourage family and friends to
Mm.
get that support as well.
It makes such a difference,
Yeah.
such a difference. I mean, I've been trading now for 2.5 years as Easy Mortgages. I
Mhm.
must have done 20 mortgages that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't had my family and friends sharing my posts.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference. People go, text my wife out the blue and goes, "Oh, I just saw, is your husband a broker? We're looking for a new mortgage, or our mortgage is fixed rates ending in 3 months. Can he help us with that?" And then bang, off you go. New lead, new, money in the business. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so Facebook and Instagram for me are please share my posts. That's how I'm going to get business. Otherwise, they're not going to do anything. They really not. You're just preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, TikTok's very different.
yeah, but again, it's good that you've been able to kind of look at the different, what works on the different platforms, and
Yeah,
you
definitely.
understand
I
you've
think
got a different strategy
they've
across it.
yeah, they've all got their uses. And it's like LinkedIn. You know, some people use LinkedIn for sales and they get leads and referrals off LinkedIn. I don't because everyone on LinkedIn that I know is probably in my industry. You know, I've got 1,000 connections on there, but they're all mortgage brokers or mortgage lenders or mortgage BDMs or whatever it might be. So I'm not going to start pitching out there and trying to get leads and referrals through there. I use that to speak to people in my industry. To if I've got questions, if I don't know where to place a case, if I want to speak to a particular lender, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Connecting with existing clients, LinkedIn is great for me. For
Mhm.
other industries, it's probably their main go-to, but for my industry, it's not. For me, it's contacts, speaking to people. But they're the four channels that I use. But yeah, and they
Yeah.
all have their own completely individual use.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's really good that actually you kind of worked that out. You've got that going, and they all have their place and their purpose in your business, which quite often people don't really sort of think about it in
Um,
that way. So I think that's really good. And obviously, you said you have the four. One of the things I was interested to realize that you don't have, particularly as we've been talking a lot about video, is that you don't have a YouTube channel at the moment. Is that anything
no,
you've thought about?
I thought about it. I thought about it at the same time when I set up the TikTok account.
Mhm.
A few months back, I thought I don't do any video, mainly because of my own confidence, I suppose. You know, it's easy to write a post or make something on Canva and send it out there. You know, anyone can do that, but not necessarily anyone can stand in front of a camera and have and be slightly engaging and capture people and talk to people and educate people. That is maybe a bit of a skill or something you have to learn or get better at. So I hadn't done video. It was all very new to me. So I was thinking, should I do a YouTube channel? Um, but again, I think YouTube again might be for longer videos, maybe for people to watch. Maybe that's somewhere where I could do a more my educational videos, talking to people about particular things, and then sending clients to that channel to watch those when I've spoken to them. I didn't see how it would get me many new clients. It probably will, and there's probably other people that would completely disagree with me and say, no, 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 TikTok is better than Instagram. So
Yeah.
YouTube is better than TikTok, and it gets me loads of clients because I put out loads of videos. But also, you can't do everything. You know, I'm a one-man band as far as I run my business by myself. I do all the
Yeah.
admin, the mortgages, and the marketing, and so
Yeah.
on. If I started saying, okay, well, I'll also do YouTube and I'll also do Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, and I'll also do why not? I'll join Donald Trump's truth. Why not? I'll join everything. You know, before you know it, you'll do no work. You'll just be constantly trying to share all these things and
Yeah.
making all these videos. So I thought that's why I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on X. You know, I don't
No,
think that one's going to be right for me either.
no, I don't.
Um,
I don't blame you. I don't disagree with anything you've done. The only thing I would say on YouTube, just so that you are aware, in case you're not,
yeah.
YouTube has had to react to TikTok and the impact of
Ah,
Reels on Meta. And so it now allows you to have what it calls shorts, which is effectively a
yes.
way of being able to load those verticals, sort of the vertical, the portrait style Reels. So it may be something in the future to just kind of open up as actually, well, I've already created this, so I can just repurpose it onto another channel. But that might be something for you to consider in the future. But as you
I
say,
totally agree. Yes. The
yeah,
ironic thing is I personally watch YouTube all the time. I mean, I'm
yeah,
always on YouTube because I love golf and I'm always watching Rick Shields and you know all the professional pros are on there and so on. So I watch it all the time. And TikTok, I don't use at all. I
yeah,
don't like it. I don't really like it. It's full of rubbish, you know, just loads of rubbish scrolling through. It's not for me, really, but for business, it works really well. So I would definitely take advice on YouTube as well. I use it personally.
yeah.
Um, so if it can, you know, it might be very simple just to share the TikToks across there, or maybe I need to make different videos across there, or I don't know. So
Yeah, but
I thought four channels is enough. I thought for me personally.
no, and I think you're absolutely right. Right, so I'm not trying to force you to do more stuff because
Yeah.
I think it's quite important to actually be able to go. Actually, that's what I can manage, and it's working for me. And the other thing is actually another good point you've just made there. There is a difference between realizing what works for digital marketing for your business compared to what you actually use personally. So as you say,
Mm.
TikTok's worked really well for me for my business, but I don't actually watch TikTok, whereas YouTube I watch all the time, but I don't do my business on there because actually it works, doesn't work again. And not everyone kind of thinks like that as well, because they kind of so it's sometimes it's very easy to be sucked into, well, I'm my ideal client as well. Was actually being able to kind of step
Exactly
back
right.
and
Some
go,
people. Mhm.
yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, and people, I've been laughed at when I've said I'm on TikTok. I get laughed at. People go, "Oh my God, how old are you?" And I think, yeah, but it works for my business. It generates me business. That's why I do it. I'm not doing it to be down with the kids. I'm not doing it to sit there scrolling through hours of TikTok dances or whatever people
yeah,
do at nighttime. I'm doing it to make my video. I send it out there, and I think, great. Hopefully, this one will pick up some traction. And if it doesn't get me any leads, fine. As long as it's getting my brand out there and it's educating people and it's making people realize that I know what I'm talking about and I'm
yeah,
a professional, fantastic. That's
yeah.
still good for me.
No, absolutely.
I
But
think YouTube's definitely one I should look at. And if it is really simple to transfer one to the other and so on and so on,
yeah,
I probably should do it as well because there's no
yeah,
reason I don't do it. I
yeah.
just thought I just decided on TikTok rather than YouTube purely because of that personal recommendation from a colleague.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, it works for you. All I'm saying there is you can just repurpose it, and actually,
Yeah,
it's dead easy. So I'm not trying to do too much more work.
yeah, I definitely. I think if I had a marketing team, I would definitely be saying to them, "Come on, you do YouTube as well." But
Yeah.
I do enough, I think, at the moment, but possibly, especially if it really works for some people, I would
Yeah,
definitely be keen to give it a try.
yeah, yeah. But I think there's also that whole thing, about knowing what you can manage, and also this is working for me, so let's not kind of get distracted from it.
Yeah,
Particularly because from the sound of it, you said, you've only been on TikTok for a few months, so you're still in that process of refining and really
definitely.
nailing down what works. So, I think your strategy and your approach is actually completely spot on, and I think that's a really good lesson to kind of share with everyone.
I think rather than going further and trying to do more channels, like I said, I'd rather refine the ones I've got because
Yeah,
other companies have got proper marketing structures that they say, I post, they're making videos and posts and putting together posts that are made weeks in advance and they're scheduled and they're all lined up ready to go. And clients know that every Wednesday at 2 there's a post and every Friday at 4 there's a post. I don't do any of that at all. So I would love to get to that stage where I've got all my marketing, all my digital posts and things that they just look the same and they know they're consistent, they're on brand, they're the same time, they're the same theory. That Tuesday is an educational post, Friday is a funny post, that Sunday, all that sort of thing. There's so many ways that I can get to and places I want to be that I'm nowhere close to.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd love to do that first.
Okay, yeah, and again, that I mean, I think that's what we all strive to get to. Where actually we can just go, look, there you go. I've got a big bank of posts that I could just push out
Yes.
at times. Um, so where do you get your inspiration for content then? Out of interest.
Yeah, sure. Well, I said it's mainly market news and market updates. I mean, being in the industry, as you can imagine, things change every single day. Lenders pull rates, they pull their products, they release a new product. The rates are going up, the rates are going down. The Bank of England base rate are meeting this week. There's so many things always happening that generally mine are just current affairs, current updates, whatever it's happening. If there's nothing big to tell you about, like there's no new fantastic rate or there's no new fantastic scheme that's coming out or whatever it might be, then I'll do an educational post. So I think, right, well, because there's a lot in the industry that people don't know. We weren't taught mortgages at school. We should have been, but we weren't. So people don't know about things like shared ownership, right to buy, whatever scheme they might be looking into that could be perfect for them, joint borrower, sole proprietor. They don't know they exist. They just think, I can't get a mortgage. The houses cost too much. I can't save up a deposit. So unless someone tells them, are you aware that Skipton have got a 100% mortgage? Are you aware that Accord can do your mortgage with just a £5,000 deposit? All these sorts of things. Unless you tell them, they're not going to know.
Yeah.
So generally, it's current affairs, current updates, market news, mortgage updates, and educational posts.
Okay. Well, that's good. So at least you've got a number of kind of content pillars that you're going to be recording, and creating content about. So that's good. And although you might not have it all written down, you've got it
No,
pretty much in your head, and
it's totally off the cuff.
yeah,
Everything I do is off the cuff, and that's, I suppose, why I don't feel like a marketing or digital expert or guru or anything like that because I don't know what I'm doing really from one day to the next. I just wing it. I just think that could make a good post or that might work or maybe I could do a video about that. An email dropped in the other day about Santander and it said something like were you aware that one of our new changes is that we allow a personal loan to be used as a deposit? And I thought, wow, I didn't know that. If I don't know that, no one else is going to know that. And so I made a video about it and bang
Yeah.
it, and it goes big and off you go. And then you get clients contact you, go, I can use a loan as a deposit. Great. Can you help me? And off you go again. So it's really just whatever pops into my mind at that particular time.
Yeah, yeah, but again, I don't think you're alone in that, and it's good to for our viewers and listeners to hear that actually having that approach isn't a bad thing, and it's actually still working for you. And just being able to make content when you get the chance, and when an idea pops into your head, is actually an approach that is generating business for you.
It is definitely. I think it could, I do think it could work better, much, much better by being more structured, more regimented, more time focused, things like that. Because people that I follow, my personally on YouTube and things, I know that there's a new video coming out at 4 o'clock on Friday, and I'm looking forward to it. I
Yeah,
know that this is happening. I know that they're currently doing a top five, whatever, and so I'm in it. It's like a TV show, like a series. Mine isn't anything like that.
yeah.
That's what I would love to get it to, where it's clients follow me because they know what's coming out tomorrow. They know what's going to be. I've got it all pre-made. I've got it scheduled. It's going to go out. It's seamlessly put out every week, that sort of thing. But being a one-man band, it's very hard to get to that
I
level.
I know. Phil, before obviously before we started the recording, we were talking about some of the challenges of running our own businesses and being one man bands. You just life gets in the way, and business gets in the way. So
Right, you
you
have to
know,
learn on the job. You've got to
yeah,
learn, before this, I was a mortgage broker. And you think, oh, I could go self-employed. What you don't realize when you're employed is not only do you go self-employed, but you have to learn how to be an accountant, a marketing manager, a CEO, an admin assistant, and on it goes. And
yeah,
so that takes up a lot of your time. And my job being a mortgage broker, there's a lot of admin, a lot of applications, agreement in principle, submitting documents, producing letters, as well as the time you're actually on the phone or speaking to clients and having your meetings. So having the extra time on top of that to then think, I also need to make a really good video today and get it sent out, it can become a little bit overwhelming. But that's why I don't put any pressure on myself. I don't
yeah,
think I have to put a video out today. I generally do my videos and my posts when I'm quiet. And
yeah,
that's just how I do it. I think I'm really busy today. I've got 3 applications and 4 appointments. Nothing's going to go out on social media.
no,
Next
no,
day, I've only got one appointment. So I'm going to be twiddling my thumbs all afternoon. So I know I'll make a TikTok video and off it
yeah,
goes again. So
yeah,
that's why I
no,
know it could be better if it was more structured, more regular, once a week or twice a week. Or I mean, I think the algorithm says you should really try and post once a day. But I don't just want to put loads of rubbish out there. Just keep
yeah.
posting and posting rubbish and rubbish. And, I'd rather grow slower and more organically, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I think again, I think you're right. It's great if you can find a way of kind of putting time in your schedule to kind of either pre-prepare, but some of the things you were saying, you're reactive to news that's coming
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
So on those, it's difficult to kind of pre-prepare
Those
unless
were
you have.
those they would have to be off the cuff, but I could have, like a series in the background. I do other brokers I see, say this is episode 14 of blah blah blah, all these sorts of things. And I just think, oh, mine's just a random thing I thought of today.
Well, it's something to aspire to then, which is
Yeah,
good.
exactly. It's good to have a
Uh,
goal.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I'm conscious of time. We sort of take, we've been having a good chat. One of the things I always like to ask my guests is to provide two kind of good tips. One is a tip that people should follow, i.e., something that works really well and that you would share and recommend people to do. And the second one is something you would tell people not to do because it doesn't work. So first off, what is your positive tip? It's a good thing to do for people for digital marketing.
Digital marketing, I would say it's people come to me, I think, and use me and my company because of the way I do business and my personality and my processes. So I think the best advice I think is be yourself and be original. If you're going to try and be someone else, if you're going to try and impersonate someone else or copy someone else, it's not going to be authentic. Clients are going to see that. They're not going to like it. They're not going to buy into you. They're not going to know who you are. And if that's the case, they might as well go to the person you're trying to copy. So if you're trying to do it yourself, I would say just be original, be yourself, and do what works for you.
Brilliant. Excellent. And what would you say is something that they just really shouldn't do?
Hmm. I can't remember what I said earlier. That's what I was
Well, you
got.
can't hear it because actually you said copy others too much. or be
Ah,
boring, or over wordy was what.
yes, I wrote that, but I think I kind of gave that as my positive, didn't I? That's why I thought I'd stick that. Yes, I mean, yes. So my not things not to do it is quite similar. It's a case of again still not copying anyone, but when you're posting as well, like I said, some people are just hammering away just keep posting and posting, even though it's not getting anywhere. It's not building up that traction. You've got to be original. You've got to figure out what's going to work for you and your business. Not being too wordy, not being just going on and on, not making massively long videos that are just boring that no one's going to want to watch. If it's not working, if you've made a few videos and it's not working, snap it up, change it, do things, be imaginative. Don't You can look for other people for inspiration. Think, what are they doing that's working better? But then you've got to put your own spin on it. You've got to make it yours and your video, and then just be confident and send it out there. Who cares? What's the worst that could happen? No one's going to ring you up and say, "Oh, I saw you on TikTok," and laugh at your video. No one cares because everyone's out there doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just get stuck in, do what works for you, be original, and get started.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. So thank you for that, for those tips as well. So finally, if people obviously, we've have watched this and gone, oh, do you know what? I either want to get in contact with Charles about a mortgage, or actually I just want to see your YouTube. What's the best way for them to find you? I mean, obviously we will share all the links to your socials and your website as part of the show notes for this.
Right?
But what would be where's the best place to go and find you?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's pretty similar on all the sites, really. It's either at Easy Mortgages, so just Easy Mortgages, or some of the sites like linked Instagram, it's at Easy Mortgages and then the word limited. So at Easy Mortgages Limited. So if you type that in just to any of those platforms, you will find our page. And of course, you can just go to our webpage, which is www.easy-mortgages.co.uk as well.
Brilliant. Finally, I just want to say thank you so much for spending time with me
You're
discussing
welcome.
this
Thank
with you
you.
today. Loads of great tips you shared. Much, much appreciated.
Good. No, really fun. Thank you very much for having me on.